Hey folks, and welcome to our first lesson on major scale pathways on the dobro. We're going to systematically go through the different positions we can use up and down the neck to play major scales on the dobro. We'll start in G, but we'll also be able to move some of these around. And this will give you the building blocks and fundamentals to kind of open up the fretboard and not be so lost when you're headed up the neck, and give you some different options for playing tunes out of, for transcribing, for finding licks and phrases that other people have played, etc. This is really good foundational knowledge. Now, looking at the diagram on the screen here, I've color-coded some of these positions for you in a general sense. You also see that they overlap, and we're going to work through each one of these. I'll explain them, how to use them, and then link it all together by giving you kind of a roadmap at the end of the series of lessons here. Let's start with our first positioning down by the nut here for G major. Our root note is just an open 6 string. I've also notated where the 3 and the 5 is of the scale, and those are just our open 5th string and 4th string, right? Because we're tuned to a G major triad, GBD, GBD. Starting on the root note, let's ascend this major scale one note at a time. We can just use our thumb pick. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's descend from there. How about some alternate picking? Thumb index on our right hand. Let's do 2 notes on each one of those intervals. 1, 2, 3, go. Let's descend. Great. So one way to practice is just to get that pathway into your brain by ascending and descending. Another way to practice it and to think about it is that this is a pocket of notes that's available to us in G major specifically, but also that shape is a major scale, so you could move it around. So for instance, what if we wanted to play in the key of D? Well, our root note for D is at the 7th fret, 6th string, and if we know that, then we can base this pattern around that. So once you've memorized and worked into your fingers the pattern down by the nut in G major, move it around, move that root note around on the 6th string, and just try and keep that pattern consistent and use it to play some different scales up and down the neck. Now also, to keep this a little more musical, try making some phrases out of this pathway. One way to do that is to hop on YouTube, look for just a G major drone track, put that on, and just play some musical phrases. Right, so that's just using notes that we might already be familiar with out of that positioning. We can, because we've got all those open strings, we can use pull-offs and hammer-ons and things to accentuate our playing. So a lot of those phrases will sound kind of familiar because, if you've been working around some of these dobro tunes in the key of G major or other keys using the capo, you've got all those open strings and pull-offs. So we can play a lot of things out of this kind of positioning here. All right, that wraps up our first position to play major scales out of. So make sure you've got that into your brain before moving on to the next lesson.